You ever feel like you're just drowning in opinions? Like everywhere you look, someone's trying to convince you of something? Well, guess what? You're not wrong. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the art of persuasion. We're going to give you the tools to build a powerful argument yourself, and maybe even more importantly, to see them clearly out there in the real world. All right, so here's the game plan. First, we're going to tackle what I call the argument avalanche, that constant flood of messages we all face. Then, we'll talk about what an argument really is. Hint, it's not just a fight. After that, we'll lay out a simple blueprint for building your own, stock up your persuasive toolkit with some classic techniques, and even get into the art of the counter-argument. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with how to land a knockout conclusion. Sound good? Let's do it. Okay, so first things first, you have to realize that arguments are, well, they're everywhere. I mean, literally. From the moment your alarm goes off in the morning until your head hits the pillow at night, you are just being bombarded with messages trying to persuade you of something, whether you realize it or not. I mean, just think about it for a second. Every single time you scroll online, what are you seeing? You're seeing these super carefully crafted arguments. They're designed to get you to click, to buy, to subscribe. You name it. They're targeting your hopes, your fears, your problems, all with one simple solution, whatever it is they're selling. And hey, it's not just on your screen. It happens right there in the grocery store. I mean, that cereal box on the shelf, it's making an argument. It's trying to convince you that it's healthier or tastier or that it's the most fun for your kids. It is persuasion, plain and simple. And then, of course, there's social media. Oh man, this is the big one, right? It's just a constant, nonstop fire hose of opinions, debates, and hot takes, and every single one is fighting for your attention and trying to get you to agree. So it really begs the question, right? With all of this noise coming at you from every direction, how in the world do you decide what to believe? Look, this is the key takeaway. Being able to think critically, to sort through all that stuff and figure out what's actually valid, that's not just some skill for a class. It is an absolutely essential survival skill for navigating modern life. Okay, let's switch gears a bit. I want you to do something for me. When I say the word argument, what's the first image that pops into your head? For most people, it's something negative, right? A conflict, a shouting match, a fight. But we need to get past that because we have to reclaim the original and frankly more powerful meaning of that word. You know, so much of what we see out there frames an argument as a battle. It's this zero-sum game where the only goal is to prove you're right and the other person is wrong. But that's not what it's all about. The classical idea, the one we're talking about today, sees argument as a constructive process. It's more like a team sport, a collaborative search for what is actually true. And this isn't some new idea either. It has incredibly deep roots. We're talking about great thinkers and leaders, from Aristotle all the way up to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. They saw argument not as a weapon to win a fight, but as a tool for discovery, for communicating really important truths, and get this, for preventing conflict, not starting it. It's all about building understanding, not just scoring points. Okay, so if we're going to build one of these constructive, truth-seeking arguments, where do we even begin? Well, think about it like building a house. You wouldn't just start throwing up walls, right? You need a blueprint. And the good news is the blueprint for a powerful, persuasive argument is actually super simple and totally repeatable. It really just breaks down into 4 key steps. Step 1, your introduction. You got to grab your audience's attention and then clearly state your main point. That's your thesis. Step 2, you build your case with strong arguments and you back them up with solid evidence. Step 3, and this is important, you address the other side, the opposing ideas. And finally, step 4, you bring it all home with a compelling conclusion that really sticks with them. All right, now that we have the blueprint, let's get some tools for our persuasive toolkit. To make your arguments really land, to make them resonate, there are 3 classic appeals you can use. And these have been around forever. We're talking Aristotle, thousands of years ago. They are ethos, logos, and pathos. First up, we've got ethos. This is all about credibility and ethics. It's an appeal to your audience's sense of what's right, what's fair, what's trustworthy. So, for example, let's say you're arguing that a public park needs better access for all citizens. You could make the point that all tax-paying citizens deserve equal access to public spaces. See? That's not just a logical argument, it's an ethical one. It appeals directly to our sense of fairness. Next in the toolkit, logos. This one is all about logic and reason. Think cold hard facts, data, statistics, evidence. If you're arguing for more affordable college tuition, this is where you'd bring in the numbers. Statistics on student debt, data on how other countries handle it. You're building a case that is just, well, logical. It's hard to argue with the facts. And last but not least, we have pathos. This is the appeal to emotion. This is how you connect with your audience on a human level. It's about making them feel something. So sharing a personal story about overcoming a tough challenge, for example, that can really pull at the heartstrings. It makes your audience feel the weight of your message, not just understand it with their brain.
So let's just boil this all down. You can think of it like this. Ethos is all about trust. Logos is all about facts, and pathos is all about feeling. Trust, facts, feeling. Simple, right? But here's the secret. The real magic happens when you blend them together. I mean, think about one of those charity ads you see. They hit you with statistics about a problem. That's logos. Then they tell you the moving story of one single person who's affected. Boom, that's pathos. And the whole thing is presented by a reputable organization you've heard of? That's ethos. They're all working together, weaving one incredibly powerful argument.
All right, now for a tip that might sound a little weird at first. One of the absolute best ways to make your own argument stronger is to actually talk about the other side's argument. I know, it seems counterintuitive, right? But trust me, it's a huge sign of confidence. It shows you've really done your homework. See, a really confident argument doesn't try to hide from different points of view. It actually anticipates them. What you do is you summarize an opposing view, and you do it fairly. Then you provide evidence to show where its weaknesses are and why your position is stronger. When you do that, you're sending a powerful message to your audience. You've thought through the entire issue, not just the parts that are easy for you. Okay, we are in the home stretch. We've laid out our blueprint, we've used our tools, we've even tackled the opposition. So how do we stick the landing? The conclusion. This is it. It's your last, best chance to make a real impact and leave your audience totally convinced. And I've got one last pro tip for you, and it's a big one. For a truly powerful conclusion, try to avoid using the word should. Don't tell your audience what they should think or should do. Here's why. If you've done your job right, if you've built your case with strong evidence, clear logic, and a solid ethical appeal, you don't need to. The conclusion will feel inevitable. The evidence will speak for itself. So, there you have it. We've journeyed from being buried under that daily avalanche of arguments all the way to having a blueprint to build our own. But the real test, the real change, it starts right now. The very next time you're scrolling through your feed or just walking down a grocery aisle, I want you to ask yourself, what are you really seeing? Is it just a product, or can you now see the argument hiding behind it? Will you be able to spot the tools they're using? That little tug on your heartstrings, is that pathos? That hard statistic, is that logos? That feeling of, I can trust this, is that ethos? See, now you have the tools not just to argue, but to understand. So the only real question left is, what are you going to do with them?